Hi, how are you? I hope you're well. Welcome to Mel's Musings. Now, I've spent much of the day today while I've been involved in doing other tasks. I've been mowing the lawn, doing practical things, and I've also been getting ready to run a workshop this evening. But all the time I've been contemplating our inspirational words for today. I have the power to change. And what I was thinking about is it was mainly to do with, those two tasks. One was I used to resent mowing the lawn. And then I started to change my attitude to it. I changed my mindset. I put my headphones on with wonderful music. And then it makes the task of mowing the lawn joyful. I use it as an exercise. So I say I'm getting fitter. And I go forward and back with the lawnmower. And so it's totally changed my way of being with the same task. The other one was where I'm running this workshop this evening, and I am so excited about it. I'm going to be running chakra dance out in the woods under the sky, and it's the full moon. It's going to be amazing. And this has been a 3-year journey for me to take the workshop out into the woods, outside. And yet I kept getting thwarted. Things weren't quite working out. Then I was overthinking it. Then I got stuck in my thinking. I knew it. I wanted it to be a perfect way, that I had to have a private place to do it. I did little things along the way, went outside a bit, maybe in the garden, to do the workshop there. But it was never quite where I wanted it to be. And then I thought, but that in itself has been a journey to achieve a dream and a desire from 3 years ago. And I realise in getting to this point, I've changed a lot. One of the things is I have developed patience, which has been a lifelong task. And I realise I have developed an ability to see that it's the process, it's the journey that matters the most. But it still feels exciting to having reached that point. And if I hadn't noticed the journey, it wouldn't feel quite so sweet. And I think back to the point where I can remember years and years ago, I'm taking myself right back to school, where I was asked to stand up in a classroom. I think it was in a maths, to quote the times table, probably in a maths class. And I was terrified. I felt sick. My brain went to that, where nothing is there. It just goes into a fog. And I felt embarrassed, and the teacher kept pushing me to do it. And I wanted to throw up probably. And that stuck with me. And I remember as I got older, I was terrified. They do say it's the number one fear, to stand up and talk in front of others. And then all of a sudden, I remember the moment that I changed. Someone asked me to do a little talk many years ago at a conference. We were selling well-being products, sort of like hand lotions and creams and things like that. And someone said, would you do a little talk? And I just said yes, rather than absolutely not. And I know I was probably not very good. But here's the thing. I know I wasn't particularly good. I just waffled along and just said what I'd written out. But it didn't matter, because when I'd done it, I felt elated. I knew it was the first step on a new journey, and I knew from that moment I had changed. Because we are never going to be perfect straight away. We're never going to get it just right. We're always on that journey. We're always learning. We're always evolving. And if we can just tap into that and realise that, then we see each step and we celebrate as we get each step along the way to where we want to be. And then when we reach a point of, wow, I've done it. I remember the first time I stood up in front of, I think it was at a school, and I stood up in front of 200 people. And that again was a turning point. And I thought, wow, I've come from that point of being so scared to this point, and it's continued from there. I wouldn't be speaking to you now if I didn't continue to keep overcoming fears of doing it. I hadn't even, until a few years ago, I wasn't even on social media. But if we keep saying, I have the power to change, and we keep facing those fears and overcoming them, we never know what we're capable of doing. It is scary. Of course it is. But it's also exciting as we go on that journey. There are parts of us, of course, where we might decide to say, actually, that is who I am. And I've tried to change, but actually that's part of my makeup, and that sort of is going to, it might sort of be a tiny bit changed and it might evolve in some way, but that's who I am. But there's a difference. When we just go, no, I can't do that because that's who I am, there's a different tone to it. It's rejecting growth. It's rejecting change. And that keeps us stilted, usually unhappy, because we know inside of us that we probably could, but we haven't got the courage to do it. And that's when we need help and support. And that's the time when we need to reach out, do it with somebody, ask for help. Ask someone to witness your dream and hold you accountable to the steps moving forward. You can do it. You have the power to change. You absolutely have the power to change. And that is what makes life thrilling, scary, like a roller coaster, ups and downs of emotions. But we get there if we just keep going and keep facing it and allowing ourselves to trip over, allowing ourselves to not quite get it and just go, yeah, but that's still better than the last time I did it. And then I get a bit better, and then we might go back a few steps and then we get a bit better. So have a think. I really want you to acknowledge you have the power to change. You are amazing already, but there is a world of opportunity out there for you. You have only discovered such a small part of your abilities, your capabilities. Your absolute amazing self is still there waiting to be discovered every day. Go do it. You can do it. Be well. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.